we have the P's of the world. They wasn't getting plays unless it was K Slay playing them. They was playing what was popular from everywhere else. So if I'm listening, if I'm from the Bronx and you playing Trick Daddy on Hot 97, I'm gonna like Trick Daddy music. I'm gonna start rapping to some of the stuff that I'm influenced by. So that's what happened. People forget in 06, there was a mass overchange where Def Jam signed all them Southern acts and Jay-Z was the president. No shot at Jay, but they wasn't signing what the streets were sounding like in New York at the time. Only person giving them love was K Slay, man. That's the only person I could say, or they was heavy in the mixtape group. That was it.
That's a fact. That's a fact. Now I could attest to that, because even, man, if I show you my messages between me and Slay, like, you know, there's a lot of things that I, you know, found out because of Slay. You know what I mean? Slay was the one hitting me like, yo, they in these rooms, bro. And niggas is telling niggas not to play your shit, bro. Like, this is what's going on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So Slay was one of them dudes where he just was so genuine in the sense of like, yo, you know, I'm playing what's high. I don't care what nobody's saying. I'm playing what I feel is high. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And he played what reflected the city.
I'm just like, yo, really, you know, if you look at a dude like him when he died, you know what I'm saying, we really lost something. But at the same time, we got to also understand that New York don't respect radio no more. New York is not a radio, it's not a radio city. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Some places are, some places isn't. Like, prime example, like if you in a place like Rhode Island or Providence and they playing your music on the radio, that shit gonna hit different than it would hit in New York. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because people don't know, like, see, one of the things when niggas always say, like, then you kind of fell back. Some of those reasons because dudes like DJ Enough, you know what I mean? Who my man, he's my man. He like, yo, bro, I wanna bring you in on some of these meetings so you can see how radio actually works.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And me going to these meetings, and I'm like, all right, bro, like, let me see. You know, I'm sitting in on the radio meeting. It ain't no like mixer or nothing like that. This is just staff, and maybe like 5 artists. You know what I mean? Dave Vis was there. We played some music and stuff. But even he said it. He was like, yo, like, I don't know why they bring us here like to play this shit, knowing they're not going to, you know, play it, no matter what, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So what they explained to me was that radio slots, you have to have, you got to pay for ad space. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because their fear is that if they play at the time, this is when what's the girl named Young May was when Ooh was popping and shit like that, right?
Yeah.
And they like, yo, how do we place Young and May in rotation?
Not messing up.
But when the Power 105 is playing Drake at the same time that we're playing Ooh.
Yeah.
And they like the people that have the black box that records the amount of listeners, they're like, well, coming from rural areas in the country, and they're gonna switch to the other station. That's why if you listen to radio, you will hear a record, and then you turn to the next station, you will hear the same record, just another song or two later. You feel me?
Yeah. Listen, what you saying?
And then he told me that for independent records, it's only one slot for an independent record. Now, only way you getting that now, they saying, okay, cool. If you got a record and is on fire in the street, but it's an independent record, right? Which means there's no ad space being bought. There's only one slot for that. But if somebody like Drake comes out with an album or a song, he blocks up most of the time.
Yeah.
So your shit can't really get, can't really get on there. So that's why when niggas, try to explain that to niggas, but like I said, every time I explain something to a nigga, I tell somebody just the raw, honest truth, and it sounds all like there's no hope. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that's not what I'm saying. I'm just trying to explain the understanding dichotomy of don't tell yourself you're more lit than what you really are, because what's happening is that's why Flex can only play his joints after 9, 10 o'clock, because that's his mix show hours. You know what I mean?
Everything you're saying is a fact, man. I remember, I come from radio, feel me? So before podcasting, I was doing radio in college. I got in trouble because I was playing A Boogie when he first came out. I'm from Highbridge, so I had to playing it during the other slots I wasn't supposed to play it in. But I'm like, listen, this is my man's. He sent me my man sent me the music. QP, shout out to QP. I got the music. I'm gonna play it because we got to get this shit going because it's hot in the streets. And I'm trying to bring it. I was going to school in Rochester at the time, Brockport. I got in trouble for that. But I've programmed in wide orbit, and it literally everything is time by time. So if it's a minute and 30 seconds with 2 milliseconds, whatever it is, it don't matter what song is playing. It's gonna cut off and jump right into that ad because they're not playing about that. That's where their money come from the ads, not from spinning the artist records.
So exactly. So it's like when now they, so they're saying that. So they like, yo, you gotta pay. So the labels, what they doing is they buying up the ad space. So they saying, okay, in replacement of this commercial, we're gonna play this. You know what I mean? Put this in every hour on the hour. So now when as me being who I am, I'm listening to that and I'm sitting on the meeting and I'm like, yo, this is wow. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I didn't know all of these things were contrived and really just man-made. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that the hit is bought.
Yeah, it's not
by the hit.
It's not organic. As it's very few organic hits like a Hot Nigga or something like that by Bobby Shmurda. A lot of these motherfuckers is bought. Right. And I tell people all the time, you was on the artist side, I'm on the radio side. I've been in there where we didn't play somebody commercial when we were supposed to play it, and they calling up to the stage, where the fuck is my ad at? Like tripping, they blacking on the advertisement accountants because they pay for that space. This is a business. It's not people. A lot of artists, Manolo, you learn they think that, oh, I'm hot, I build a relationship. No matter, Funk Flex is Funk Flex, but there's a program director there at Hot. There's somebody above him, like P.O. Shout out to P.O. I've talked to him a few times at Hot 97. If you know, you know. You got to go through all these chains of command before a record can even get cleared to get spin on this motherfucker.
That's a fact.
It's not easy.
And that's when we sat down, that's what they were showing me, because I was trying to understand, like, yo, if my record is doing this, why? Like, what? Look, listen, niggas got to really realize, bro, like, I had All About the Money, Run Ricky Run, and Superflex and all at the same time, right? And niggas, because I didn't have those relationships, I never did a summer jam, not even a small stage.
That's crazy.
Now you ask yourself, see, this is the shit that niggas don't be wanting to, you know what I'm saying? Not even a small stage, bro. Like, I see niggas get shit on a small stage with no record. This just on my manager is Whoopty Whoop, and he fuck with High 97. So High 97 gave him the smaller stage. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They wouldn't even do that for me, bro. Them niggas was playing my record on the big stage and wouldn't let me come out and perform. While niggas playing my record. You know what I'm saying? Like, no invite, no nothing, bro. Like, so it was a weird, weird time, weird space for me. But I did get to learn and understand on how this shit really worked. And I had to learn that this shit is about, you got to be able to, you got to have the relationship, because it's the money, but it's not even about it, the relationships is more important than money.
Right.
I didn't know that. You know what I'm saying?
Before you ask that,
being that you learned the business already, right? Up and coming artists out there probably looking like, how do I get into the industry? Who would you say is the most important person to build a relationship with? Is it a DJ? Is it like another rapper? Is it an A&R? Is it like label executive? Who would you recommend?
It all depends. It all depends. I think all of those relationships are equally as important. The thing is though, like when you build a relationship with other rappers, it helps you in the sense of you being seen, because I know when I was with giving the prime example, when I was taking meetings, you know, doing writing and stuff like that. I was at damn, what's that, Interscope or Capital? I think it was Capital, but I can't remember. But I know it's where the Weeknd was signed there at the time. I don't know wherever he's at now, but at the time he was there. And remember when his first album came out, it didn't do well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When he had the shit where he was doing like the Japanese shit, and Drake had dissed him on a 6 p.m. in Toronto. Remember he was like a couple albums on the shelf.
Yeah.
Them shits would have really did numbers. I felt I was willing to help.
Yeah.
And all of that.
Right.
And so when I went to the meeting, they was like, they had this plan because they was like, yo, the music fire, but we gotta make him a bigger artist. And you're gonna see why I'm saying what I'm saying. So what they did was they said that anywhere that Beyonce was, anywhere that she was going to be, they were gonna place him there. So
as far as opening it up or something like that.
No, like so if Beyonce is doing the Grammys, they're gonna find a way to get him to open up at the Grammys, or to at least be on the red carpet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's all about.
If she got a billboard somewhere, he would have a billboard in the same place. If she had anything like that it was dealing with her, they were gonna place his face next to her. So if they got a commercial, yes, in the label, not necessarily just the management, but the label.
Yeah, label.
They're dumping all this money into that, because what they were saying to me was that, now I'm like, I didn't understand at the time, because I'm like, you know, I'm green, I don't know what's going on. So I'm just like, I don't, you know, no, I don't understand that aspect of this, the marketing side of it. But what they was doing was that they were saying that if he's next to her, then you would look at him like he's a star too.
Which makes sense.
That's the artist aspect. Now he got the biggest selling tour by any Black African American artist. He just beat Michael Jackson. You feel me?
Yeah.
So the plan worked.
Yeah.
It worked. So that's the aspect of being next to other artists. Yeah. But then you have like you said too, the management or the DJ. Yeah, you got to get cool with the DJ too, because you want your music to be in the places where niggas are saying it's lit. Anywhere it's lit, you want music to be there. You know what I mean? You want that music to be there. You want it to be heard. But today, the DJ don't have as much power as he once had. That shit is kind of faded already.
It's more so
kind of going. Like they don't have that necessary power because they don't have the ability to break these records no more like they once did. But then you can look at somebody like Vince Staples, who his music isn't big in the sense of like he or Pusha T. Look at Pusha T and look at Vince Staples. The music isn't as big on a grand scale. I think Pusha T his last album was his biggest debut, and he only did about 60,000. But his management is so connected, and himself, he's so connected. He's walking down Louis Vuitton.
Yeah.
Staples, he can't even do 60,000, but he's on TV shows. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's on, you know what I mean? Albert Elementary and all of that shit. You know what I'm saying? He just got the movie joint that he had with Netflix. You know what I'm saying? So
if
I look at it like you just need that little niche about yourself that stands out. Because if you look at it like, I say for instance, Coco Jones, we all probably seen her growing up as a kid on that TV show. I don't know what her situation was with Disney again, but she vanished out. She got on the new revamp of the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air show. People started to like her, and then she got back into her music. Now we tuned it back into her. Now she's the best new artist at BET. And all it took for her to be in that spot.
So
like, you got
so
use
everything
not or like the
Best
show speed to build their portfolio.
Best, can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Best, you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah. So everything you saying, all of that stuff is what Manolo was talking about earlier. That shit's bought, bro. It's not. None of this stuff is actually. It's not all done organically. Even with Coco Jones' success, shout out to her, right? She came from Disney, so it's something to attribute her back to. Same thing, Leonardo DiCaprio. Leonardo DiCaprio was a child star. All of these things, it's about what you associated with early, or who you know, what you know. Like you were saying, like I was going to ask you before we got deep into this. A lot of people feel like, oh, if I pick this artist for a feature, like Le'Veon Bell did, I'm gonna get a fire joint. No, you a lick. Like you a lick. It's about the relationship, not just the money, like you said before.
And that's the whole shit. And it's like, yo, that's the part that we don't understand, we don't get. So you might look at a dude and say, like, boom, right? The label might pump in a bunch of money for artists while it's hot and it's going. And it's like, all right, then. It's like, all right, but then you'll see on the second project, they're not willing to pump that same money out. So now you're not seeing him as much. Then you say, damn, he ain't lit no more like he was. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
I think Gunna
so
a perfect
it gives
example.
the illusion like that nigga, he fell off. You know what I mean? Something fell off.
I think Gunna,
it's like, nah, they just not placing him everywhere he's supposed to be placed no more, because the label saying they ain't putting that money into the situation like they were. You know what I'm saying?
I believe Gunna is the perfect
and we
example.
see that a lot. Just look at, I don't want to say niggas' names, but just look at it. You know what I mean? Because I don't want niggas to be crying, but I'm just saying, like, look at it. Look at niggas who was everywhere. You saw them everywhere. And no matter what it was, you kept seeing them get posted every place. Hollywood Unlocked, Shade Room, Ball Alert, all the places, all these black spaces, you know what I mean, where they on TV, MTV Awards or BT Awards or whatever, Hip Hop Awards, the Grammys, they on everything. And then all of a sudden, they ain't on nothing.
Hey, man.
You know what I mean? And then niggas say, oh, son ain't lit no more. No, it's that the label just ain't putting the money up no more.
You know what you're saying? That the perfect example that come to my mind, even though you don't want to say no names, the one that come to my mind is Gunna. Because I watched the Guns and Butter video, and I watched what came out from like his last project. You could just tell the big difference in budgets from the last project to after everything he went through to this new one. That was a run and gun video. He paid somebody $2,000 to do that. Maybe $6,000 if he wanted to be generous. That wasn't a real thing. If you really watch the last rollout for the last project, Billboards, he dating one of them sisters. I don't remember their names. Like it's just one of the baby sisters and all of that stuff. Now you see him, he ain't nowhere.
Right. Mm-hmm. And that's what I'm saying. Because if you just pay attention to it, you like, damn, like look, you like, damn. Like look at somebody like Fabio, man. Like look at that. Mm-hmm. Nigga everywhere, Kanye West joint. Now it's like, yo, you don't see him. And then he lit, but niggas will be like, oh, he ain't lit. It's like, how, bro? They ain't putting that money up no more, bro. It's obvious. It's obvious, bro. Like, that's what I'm saying. Is like, I'm not saying to mention him in the sense of in the disparaging way. I'm saying, bro, get him in. Come on, put him where he supposed to be. Put the nigga where he supposed to be. Niggas fuck with him. Music is good. Kanye West fuck with him. Put the nigga where he's supposed to be. But it go back to what I was saying before in our last shit. He ain't dissing niggas no more.
Yeah.
He ain't saying He ain't dropping rakes no more. He ain't shitting on folks no more. So niggas ain't gonna support it because how long is the conversation can be about positivity? Not that long.
Yeah.
Right. So
You know what I mean?
let me ask you a question. Recently, it just came out like Lil Baby ticket sales haven't been doing good. Like the shows, like he had to cancel a lot of shows. He got like Gorilla on the tour with him. He got Killer Roy on the tour with him. Honcho, Gloss Up, probably a couple more people. Why you think his ticket sales are not doing so good right now? Is
That's
it
my point, bro. Because niggas trying to jump to arenas.
Mm-hmm.
Like, bro, you can't, bro. You know, like, bro. Listen, I seen niggas with no real back. Man, look at a dude like what's her name? Tech Nine.
Yeah.
You would
Years.
see a nigga like Tech Nine, Playboy Cardi, doing 15,000 niggas, bro. No real backing. You don't see them nowhere.
Nope.
You know what I'm saying? And niggas like him, niggas like Baby, you like, yo, he everywhere. Why this shit ain't connecting everywhere? It's cause, bro, like that shit don't necessarily got a result to ticket sales. Yo, you ever seen a Russ show?
That should be crazy.
That nigga Russ, you ever seen his shows? You like, how this nigga doing this? Bro, you ever listen to a Russ song?
You know who was another one out there? You know another person.
Never went to nowhere. I don't care. Nothing that nigga ever did in my life.
You know another
never
person
say
like
y'all
that.
putting that Russ on. Never.
Another person like that.
Right?
R.I.P.
So-
MF Doom.
Yup. Look at him too. Look
MF
at
Doom.
but see, I never seen Son sell no hard tickets though. I gotta see that part. You gotta see that part of it. Cause that's how you really engage what's going on. Cause a nigga like Russ, somebody be like, he ain't lit. What? Russ doing 20,000. He's selling out the Staples Center twice in 1 week. You niggas can't do that. So how you more lit than him? How?
Absolutely.
That's just not like, you know what I'm saying? So I gotta see YB sell some tickets and see if niggas really fuck with it.
Oh no, I don't know.
What I mean?
I don't know about YB.
Like, bro, you notice this? Hold on, you ever notice this? Niggas, so-called big artists, you never see them go on tour by themselves.
Never. Listen, man.
You know what I mean?
Let me talk.
You ever seen a Meek Mill tour?
No.
It's always somebody
Listen,
else.
we could go back. We could go
You
back
ever
to
seen
back
a
in.
Rick Ross tour?
We could go back to back in the days, right? It was the Rough Rider. It was the Rough Rider Cash Money tour. That was the tour. It wasn't just one. It wasn't one person. And then Rockefeller joined the tour too. So you had three of the biggest acts at that time on tour together. And on top of that, we talk about people that sell tickets. It like even Drake. People talk about Drake. Drake even travels with somebody. He not like doing the Bad Bunny shit. Bad Bunny out there is selling 100,000, doing stadiums and shit. That's a whole different. That's a whole different ball game. Burna Boy doing 75,000. Wizkid 100,000.
Different thing, bro. The nigga The Weeknd did 80,000 niggas twice in the same place. It's a difference. Like so a nigga like Drake doing probably like 40.
Yeah, he doing arena still.
He probably doing 40, 50 niggas, 1,000. So I'm saying like a dude like you would never see a Rick Ross tour because he can't go on tour. Yeah. Because his name is too big. He can't do a 10,000 venue or 5,000. It's gonna look wicked. It's like, yo, they got Ross on a little ass stage. You feel me?
And let me ask you this question.
Before you go there, Best, before you go there, right? That I wanted to add to this one thing with the Lil Baby tour. The artist that's on there, Gloss Up, Glorilla, or Rilo Rodriguez, they don't really got nothing that connects with a mass audience to bring another 5,000 to 6,000 people there. Even the people that's on the lineup, you should want them to bring at least 2,000 to 5,000 people there, but they can't bring that by themselves. They can't. That's why the numbers is not doing well.
Exactly.
So if they were doing small venues that hold 5,000 to 10,000, they would have been fine.
Right. It would be way better. But you got to think. See, a Raul Rodriguez could do 300 people.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Somebody like Lil Baby, he can't go to a venue with only 5,000. He can't do it.
Mm-mm.
He can't do it because it's gonna tarnish. It's gonna tarnish the brand. It's gonna tarnish the brand. It's not gonna look right. It's not gonna look right, bro.
Let me ask you this: do you think these rappers are overpricing themselves? Because I feel like if they were to ask for cheaper prices and stuff like that, then like the promoters could bring probably an extra person and the ticket price could be cheaper.
Nah, because the reason why I'm saying nah is because you see other dudes doing the same pricing and doing the same and winning.
Yeah.
It's just your shit ain't as lit as you think it is. That's just what it is.
And can I add to that point?
It's a false illusion.
Can I add to this one point by saying Rolling Loud has skewed a lot of these artists' beliefs to sell tickets. All of these festivals, because they are on these festivals and they headline a festival, but that festival was going to sell 50,000 tickets, 60,000 tickets by themselves, regardless whether you was there or not. You just a headliner. You're not the person selling the ticket. And that's where he was getting at with the Ross thing. It's a difference on what you gross on your. That's why people talk about Michael Jackson to this day and people like that, because they were going on tours by themselves. My name is is the marquee. My name is selling the ticket, not me being a subsidiary to this overall brand that is is already.
Remember when Kanye backed out of Coachella,
mm-hmm.
and his ticket price was $8 million because he's doing those type of numbers by himself.
Mm-hmm.
So he ain't accepted nothing. He wasn't accepting nothing less than 8. And when they replaced him with the Weeknd said, I'm not accepting nothing less than what he accepted. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that just sums it up right there.
We just see Frank Ocean do it. Frank Ocean went out there, said he tore his ACL and then performed.
Come on.
But they paid him. They sold the tickets regardless. Frank didn't even perform.
Exactly. Bro, look what they said. Look at DJ Khaled. Remember, he was upset with the Tyler Creator shit. And he was like, who's listening to this? And then Tyler went on tour and he saw the hard ticket sales and niggas like, somebody listening to it.
And that's one of the biggest things I learned. Shout out to
what I'm saying?
Shout out to Griselda. Shout out to French. We was talking about before, like the New York sound, and people were talking about why New York sound different. Because we lost radio. We started French Montana was one of that first rendition of actually artists investing in themselves, starting to late their own shit. I know we seen Biggs and Damon them do it earlier, and Jay early, but French Montana was our era doing it because they wasn't playing Coke Wave on the radio. You had to go get the Cocaine City DVD to go hear the new Coke Wave on there, bro.
Right, that's a fact.
So that's why French Montana is
wet because when I was with them, right, and me and Gabi was talking. Gabi was like, "Yo, how Flex didn't understand what was going on with French at the time, but what he did was French paid him. French gave Flex $5,000 to do a party. Flex was trying to like understand like this shit really lit, but he gave him the bread. So Flex like, fuck it, I'ma come. And when he went and the way niggas reacted to everything's a go, he was bugged out. Like, what the hell? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So French was one of them first, that first wave, but he's just always been right in that same space. So, but that's what I'm saying, bro. Like, you can't get. That's the whole argument right now, right? With the independent versus having a label, and it's like, oh, you don't need the label. No, you do need the label. Because you can have the hottest single on the planet, but if you don't have 250,000 to promote it throughout this whole country, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. You don't got that to do that.
And it pays to have
places like New York and LA. New York and LA, you don't really necessarily have to fork over money. You just got to buy the ad space, right?
Yeah.
I think those are the only 2 places where they got those type of laws where you can't necessarily put the money up and say, I'm buying this, that, and the third. You have to do it in another manner.
Yeah.
Everywhere else you do.
Yeah.
It's $10,000 just to go to mix show in the tri-state. You don't got 10 grand just for mix show play.
Yeah.
And you definitely can't go national.
Yeah. Listen, I'll tell
You
you.
know what I mean?
I've seen it firsthand. My brother artist, so I've seen it with us getting him on BET, with us getting Clue to play his shit at night with Vibe. I've went through all of that process, seen it firsthand on my own, on top of being on the radio side. And I will say, we talked about people trying to push it. French was doing this, and he had we talk about multi-platinum recording producer Dame Grease was with him, and they was getting pushed back from trying to get in. And if you know who Dame Grease is,
Hey.
Yeah, a lot, and people give Dame Grease pushback, but Dame Grease made It's Dark and Hell Is Hot. Like, we can't forget that. And French was rolling with him and Max B, who was making some of the hottest shit at the time, and they still was getting pushed back because it's about the relationships and not just the money, but the relationship and shit. So you could be a hot new artist, but it's one thing when you coming in the game and you got a Julie Greenwald or you got a Leo Cohen behind you versus coming in the game hot as fish grease, hot as shit in the street. But who are you affiliated with is the question. Who can vouch for you? Oh, nobody can vouch for you, so we gonna put you to the wayside.
Just look at Travis Scott. Look at Travis Scott. Same thing. Travis was doing crazy wild numbers and people with no radio play. Niggas didn't even understand it.
Mm-hmm.
But he had the Tom Moskowitz and everybody else behind him.
Mm-hmm.
They made sure that shit got the way it got. They promoted the nigga like he was the new Kanye West. Yeah. All of that shit is important. Controlling your narrative is probably the most important thing in the planet.
Absolutely.
I don't fuck it. And what endeavor you're in. You know what I mean? You only smart if everybody else say you smart. You could be the smartest nigga on the planet. If everybody say you dumb, then you dumb. You know what I'm saying? Perception is reality. That's just what it is. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
It's like a nigga in your family who he only stole something one time, but he's deemed as a thief. So every time he comes over, everybody says, "Oh, hide your stuff." Right. Even if he ain't never steal nothing after that one time, he's a thief. You're gonna walk around saying that nigga, he a thief. Hide your shit. And he could cry and hoot and be like, "Yo, come on, man. I was young. I ain't do that shit." And it ain't gonna matter. Niggas like, nah, that nigga might steal. Absolutely. You know what I mean? Because niggas don't understand that, but it's not because we don't live in the world by ourselves. It's not what you think about yourself. It's what other people think about you. That's why a nigga could fake being a good person. Mm-hmm. And niggas gonna believe it. If you showing that,
talking about
right, then they come out like, nah, this nigga ain't good. You start seeing his family saying things about him in the disparaging way, and you like, wow, damn, that nigga was doing that. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And tarnish your whole shit. But man, I just seen some shit today, right? Y'all niggas, y'all watch what's the dude, JT the Pocket Watcher on YouTube?
Nah, I never heard of that.
Nah?
I heard of him, but I never watched the shit.
Does like, he's a financial advisor. But he goes in on the dudes who he feel like be lying about, the money they make, and they just selling you the idea of you can make money and buy the course from them type of niggas, right? To earn your leisures and all these other motherfuckers, right?
Yeah.
But he just did a whole story on Robert F. Smith, the richest black man in the world, richest black American, right? And nigga just exposed the nigga was a government informant.
Wow.
Right? On how the nigga who actually put him on, he ended up telling on him because he got caught for some taxes shit because he was his now current wife, he was taking care of all her expenses through a fake shell company. He was taking care of the bitch through a fake shell company, and came out that they jammed him up. He had to pay 190 million taxes back to the government, right? Because they found he was hiding money. Yeah. This is the same nigga that went on to Morehouse and he challenged the alumni and saying like, yo, I'm gonna take care of all the 2019, I think it was 2019, 2020 Morehouse graduates. He paid for their tuitions and everything like that, right?
Yeah.
And their student loans and everything they own.
Oh,
Come to find out the nigga took the money from from nasty funds You know what I mean? But then he
Yeah.
became an informant, right? And the nigga he tried to tell on was the nigga who put him on, but the dude had died. And then they said, he died. Well, you got to tell on somebody else. Tell on the lawyer that set it all up for you. When he tried to tell on the lawyer killed himself. But now you see the same nigga, he's the richest black man in America, and he's with Jay-Z and them niggas now. He's still working. These niggas don't even know that. But I'm just saying that to say, yo, this shit is all bugged out. Like this, come on, just you know what I mean?
It's crazy you talked about controlling.
Just really pay attention.
It's crazy you talk about controlling a narrative and things of that nature, right? And how people could appear to be a good guy but be a snake. So first and foremost, we also know you as an artist, but you do other things too. R.I.P. Mutulu Shakur, and you was doing work with him, a political prisoner who was released about a year ago or so, and he just recently passed away. So you want to get into more stuff like that, especially when we talk about controlling a narrative, because people that don't know, they need to know who Mutulu is.
Definitely, you know what's ill because and I'm glad you brought that up too, because I want to say first and foremost, rest in peace to Dr. Mutulu Shakur. You know what I mean? Who was a man who at 15 years old, y'all remember when the story came out when they brought out that Aretha, the FBI had this whole file on Aretha Franklin. Yeah. Remember they brought that out a few years ago, and they went into that, and everybody was like, "Why the fuck the FBI was, following Aretha Franklin? What was she doing?" Well, people don't know her father was hosting events for the Republic of New Africa, which I'm a member of. I'm a conscious citizen of the Republic of New Africa myself, and she was hosting events there back in the, in the early 70s, and they had big shootout with the FBI coming out of his church, New Bethel Church or whatever, and which I believe led to her father getting killed. You know what I mean? Because he mysteriously dies after that. But they had this big shootout with the FBI in which I think 3 FBI agents end up dying in the course of that shootout. And you have the case, the PGRNA, the RNA-11 case. Mutulu Shakur was 15 years old during that shootout, and he was there and participated in that in that rebellion. And later on, as he got older, people always believed that, Pac's mother was a Black Panther. She was. Yeah. But they always think Mutulu Shakur was also a Black Panther, and he wasn't. Mutulu Shakur was never in the Panther Party at all. He was not a part of Panther 21. Mutulu Shakur was an RNA member. He was a Republic of New Africa member. But he used to also do the political education classes for the Black Panther Party. Now, the Panther 21 case and all that Pac Moms was involved in, where she, Fanny, she represented herself and she beat her case. You know what I mean? All of them beat their case. But them dudes was real serious dudes. Dudes like Twyman Myers was, they was really going to war with the government. Yeah. You know what I mean? And people don't bring these guys up, these political prisoners that are still in prison for their political activities. You know what I'm saying? People like Twyman Myers, who was known as a ferocious cop killer because he was going to war with the government themselves. They were sending these people. This is the FBI sending people to, kill these people. If you watch the movie Judas and the Black Messiah, and you see how the FBI was sent the black, dude William O'Neill to lay out the floor plans of where Fred Hampton lived in the movie Judas and the Black Messiah. And the police, Chicago PD, came and killed him in his home while laying next to his pregnant wife. You know what I'm saying? And they killed him. He was drugged before he could even move out the bed. And they shot through that wall maybe about 100 times. Police murdered him. But these dudes literally going to war with police. Yeah. So now we got brothers that's coming home now, like Mutulu Shakur, who they just let home, who's Tupac's stepfather, who wrote the Thug Code and all that, Thug Manifesto. He wrote all of that. But they just let him home on compassionate release. Not that long ago, he ended up dying from cancer. They always today on this day is the birthday of Asada Shakur, who they always talk about. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
They always talk about Asada Shakur and how she's now in Cuba and exiled in Cuba because they broke her out of prison. But they don't talk about the brothers who broke her out of prison and as to why they was all in prison. Brothers like Sundiata Kohli, he's home now, but he's 80-something years old. These dudes is in bad health.
Yeah.
The dude Sekou Dinga, who's like a real action hero, a dude who actually literally went to he broke out of Rikers Island. When he broke out of Rikers Island, he fled to Algeria during the time when the Algerians were fighting against the French, and they just had gained their independence from the French through armed struggle. He went there and learned guerrilla training, and then also went to China during the time of Mao Zedong, and when Chairman Mao was, he learned guerrilla warfare from Chinese and the Vietnamese, came back to America, snuck back into America and freed Asada Shakur from out of prison. You know what I'm saying? And then he eventually gets caught. You know what I mean? That's Yaki Gaddafi's father.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The dude, the one that was down with the outlaws. That's Pops.
Yep.
If you listen to Me and My Girlfriend by Tupac, you listen to Me and My Girlfriend, and when he says, look for me, and you know what I mean? When he's like him and Bonnie and Clyde in the whirlwind.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You can read the book, Look for Me in the Whirlwind, the Penta 21 case. That's what he's really referencing. And when he's talking about who's his girl, he's talking about a gun. You know what I'm saying? Because he comes from that struggle.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You still got brothers. These brothers are just coming home and they're 80. Dudes like Jalil Mutakim, he also just came home. These dudes did 40 years in prison. Dudes like Leonard Peltier, you know what I mean, from the AIM movement. These are Native Americans that are also in prison. You know what I'm saying? Oscar Lopez, Puerto Rican dude, who did about 30 some odd years. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And people that's still in prison is like Mumia Abu Jamal and Imam Jamil Alamin. You know? So with this work that I'm doing with that, I'm really like helping to free these guys from prison. Also having the prison campaign to write letters to these brothers because of their sacrifice and struggle that they did for all of us. You know what I'm saying? You know, these, you know, in New York in itself, you know, these dudes was really listen, you couldn't kill, there will be no cop killing. See, their whole premise was that when they formed these movements like the BLA, the Black Liberation Army, there would not be no killings on just one side. So you can't just run down and step on George Floyd's neck and strangle him to death without somebody else getting hurt behind that murder. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
These dudes is real serious dudes.
Yeah.
And even though they serving their time, they still being held because of the things, their beliefs. You know what I mean? Like, so when I'm doing this work, I'm bringing light to the fact that you cannot forget the movement in Philadelphia, where they were the only second black group to have bombs dropped on them and, you know, literally blowing them up in houses.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And anybody that's listening, you can Google this stuff and watch the documentaries on these things that I'm saying. Google some of these people that I'm talking about, so you can really come to a real understanding of who these people are. You know what I mean? These great women and great and great men that did this work. So, you know, Doc just died and he touched a lot of lives. You know, he was one of the ones who took over and broke into and took over the wing in Lincoln Hospital in the Bronx, where they was doing acupuncture to get brothers off heroin instead of using methadone. You know what I'm saying? These are the people that Tupac come from. These are the people that actually raised the man, and this is why he has the name Shakur, you know what I'm saying, is because of these brothers like Mutulu, Zay Shakur, and Lumumba. You know what I'm saying? And all of these people, like when Tupac beat that shooting when he shot the two off-duty police officers, when he shot them, the lawyer he used was Chukwue Lumumba, you know what I'm saying, who also was a conscious citizen of the Republic of New Africa, and he used him. That's how he beat those cases. You know what I mean? These real political activists that was really doing his work. And that's what I'm doing. And currently, you know, I've always been doing this. I've been doing these type of marches and protests and political work since I was about 16, 17 years old. And I started with you know, Imam Jamil Alamin, formerly known as H-Rat Brown, and all of these people. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's a major thing.
Absolutely.
And like you said about controlling the narrative, they cut us off from this black radical tradition that we have. You know what I mean? Brothers should read books like We Will Shoot Back. You know what I mean? By Akhenalia Umoja. You know, read those type of books where you will see real armed resistance and struggle. And you know how they have these shirts where they saying, "Oh, we're not our ancestors. Like we gonna get up and fight." And it's like, nigga, you ain't fighting like your ancestors, because if you did, then you would know and understand that we've been putting in work, armed struggle work.
It's
we're actually not like our ancestors, because they motherfuckers was actually getting up there and getting busy.
It's crazy.
You know what I mean? We wasn't just marching the hashtag and shit. Motherfuckers was putting niggas in the dirt for the shit that they was doing.
So it's crazy it's crazy you say that, right? And you bring that up, right? Because on the show we get into, we talk about it at times. I'm very pro 2A. I'd say every black person in America should own a firearm. I'm big on that. That's why I don't live in New York no more, because they make it very hard for you to own a firearm. So I moved to Nevada. I believe it.
Yeah.
When I have girlfriends like that, my ex-girlfriend, we used to live together. We would go to the gun range and shoot. Like, if I'm not home, you got to know how to protect yourself. But my education was different. I went to school in the Bronx, but anybody that ever seen Hidden Colors, Dr. Cabo, that was my history teacher in school. So I grew up with a Pan-African Black Panther mindset since I was a child. That's how I grew up with.
Right.
And the schools that I went to was taught to embrace my blackness. So I don't know how to not be a proud black person. So for me, when I see people say that, I'm like, do you not really know? And like you said, you was doing this. My first march was Gina 6 in 2006, when the 6 dudes in Gina got caught up in the bullshit. I was in 6th grade. So, and I was already out there willing to get arrested, willing to do whatever, wearing all black, marching, and we was ready. We was taught for, if this happens, then you do this. I might have had it. Luckily for me, they didn't send me to Spaldford, but I know I was ready to go to Spaldford if I had to that day. It was what it was.
Right, definitely, man. I want dudes to really look up the Jericho movement and really see all these political prisoners that still getting locked up today for political work. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And you know, and really get this real understanding, and really, you know, really get into this work and study our real black radical traditions and who we are as a people. You know, I want brothers to read CLR James, Negro Revolts, or, you know, the Harry Haywoods of the world, or the Edward Wilmot Blyden's, or Hubert Harrison. You know what I'm saying? I know I'm saying names that are very much unfamiliar with, you know, with these people, because we always get the Dr. Martin Luther King and the, you know, the Malcolm X's, and that's cool. Yeah. But I'm saying, get to the brothers that like, you know, get to the side of Shakur's, read the side of, you know, brothers like Dhoruba bin Wahad, you know, these brothers, the Noah Washingtons, and these brothers really, you know, put their lives on the line for what you know, what was going on and what is being done. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want people to really understand that we wasn't just out here marching and wasting shoe leather, you know what I'm saying, and rubber, you know what I mean? And not saying that's not good, but what I'm just saying, we didn't only do that. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, they don't tell people that when the time when, you know, we seen about, in its current state, we seen about 4 or 5 Emmett Till movies, but they don't ever talk about when the brothers sent sent the brother to you know what I mean, to put in some work behind that. And somebody died behind that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Still smoking on that Carolyn Bryant pack too.
They don't talk about that.
Still smoking on that Carolyn Bryant. What's her name? Carol Bryant? Whatever her name is. Still smoking on that pack. The old ass finally died.
Oh, the girl right here who just
who lied on Emmett Till?
That's the recent shit that just happened.
Mm-hmm.
That's the one that got Emmett Till out of here. Remember?
Right. Let's talk about, you know what I mean? He was somebody like her. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, there was a lot of stuff going on, man. That you know, we got to understand and learn about the George Jacksons of the world. You know, the William Christmases of the world. We have to understand that. And somebody like her was a piece of shit, you know, and makes you rest in piss. You know what I mean? Because you know, you got a 15-year-old boy brutally beaten, killed for a lie, who she admitted it was a lie.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And he didn't do what she said he did. But this is what I'm saying. Like, what we gotta stop. We can't do, and it's like you said, with control of the narrative. The you know, when you read the COINTELPRO papers, what they were basically saying was we can't have another generation of these kind of niggas. So we gotta separate this from this.
Absolutely.
You know?
And then they gave us stuff, they gave us bullshit.
So we could get so it's like this, right? We could learn about Angela Davis, but we don't know who a co-defendant was in Rochelle Mcgee. You know what I mean? And Rochelle Mcgee he's probably the longest held political prisoner there is. He's been in prison since 69. Something like that, since 68. Because when George Jackson's brother, Jonathan Jackson, tried to break him out of prison, he was already going to court because he was being held himself under political stance. And he tried to free himself, and then he got jammed up in that situation because when Jonathan broke him out, the police, you know, shot into the van and killed all the people in the van, and he was the only person left alive, so they charged him with all of those murders. Now, he was Angela Davis co-defendant because those guns that Jonathan used was actually registered to Angela Davis. That's a place on the run, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And, you know, they talk about her because she beat the case, and it's like, oh, Black Girl Magic and all this other stuff, which is cool, but how do we forget Rochelle Mcgee? Yeah. He's still in prison for that. Yeah. He's still in there. You know, we can't let that go. Absolutely. We can't let the fact that Mumia Abu-Jamal is known that he didn't do his crime. He's still in there. Police literally sent, they had named the street after Mumia in Paris. And the police union sent police to Paris to protest that. They ain't even in America. That just show the power they have. You know what I mean? And that just shows this is done in the 80s and they still doing this. They're making sure these brothers don't ever get out of prison. Yeah. You know what I mean? They're making sure this shit. And we gotta push back. We gotta fight against that. We gotta struggle forward. We gotta you know, do this work. Absolutely. You know what I'm saying? We gotta really do this work. We gotta really understand who we are as a people in a sense of like we have war and we have battle. You know what I mean? I would encourage brothers to read Sophia Bakari's wonderful sister, her book called The War Before, or Huey P. Newton's Revolutionary Suicide, or, you know, Huey P. Newton's theory on intercommunalism. You know what I'm saying? Or Franz Fanon, Wretched of the Earth. And dudes like Walter Rodney's Decolonizing Marx, and also Grounded with My Brothers. And also his famous work, How Europe Undeveloped Africa. You know what I mean? Because we got a big movement in this country now with niggas that saying they Native Americans all of a sudden. You know what I mean? Everybody's an Indian now, you know what I mean? And it's like they think that shit is slick and cool and it's fly, but if you really think about it, it's very undermining to who we are as a people, not because of the fact that we saying we from Africa, but just the mere fact that a nigga actually believed that we so fucking dumb that a nigga think that I could have left from Long Island at 15 and moved to Virginia, and about time I'm 75, I think I'm an African because a nigga told me. So you saying I'm that dumb that I don't know I came from Long Island that a nigga can tell me, nah, you really just can't. You know what I mean? And now I believe I'm an African because they told me that you have to think I'm that stupid to believe that. But that's what's going on right now. Niggas don't even want to be who they are no more. Niggas don't want to be who they are. They thinking it's like because you was weak. And it's like, nah, nigga, we resisted the whole way through. We've been resisting on every continent. Then you got this whole stupid shit going on with this FBA, and I'm pro-American. I'm a black American, and I don't fuck with niggas from the Caribbean and the West End. It's like, nigga, this shit is stupid. You know, this shit dumb because when the Haitian Revolution happened and they won, and the whites knew that this was going on, they made stronger slave codes. Not because they said, oh, he got free over here. They made this slavery harder because nigga in Haiti. So it's like, how I'm not connected to you if you win a war, niggas is punishing me. It's just dumb, bro. Like we gotta, I don't know, bro. I don't know, but you know what I mean? This is something that I'm really passionate about. I know niggas can hear it in my voice.
Hell yeah. Nah,
this real shit happening right now.
Hell yeah, man. I definitely can have conversations like this all day. We got like a couple more minutes left, like maybe 4 minutes. Best, anything you want to ask Manolo before we get up out of here, man? We got 4 minutes left before we got to wrap it up.
Yeah, no, I just want to say this, man. Like, you dudes, man, you know what I mean? We got to, you know, all the bullshit aside, we have to, you know, be real men. Be men of principle and be men of study. And, you know what I mean? Free the land, man. That's it.
I appreciate you. I ain't gonna lie. I'm not really into all that, but I be paying attention to kind of what's going on as far as like people saying like, yo, like people just gotta embrace themselves. There's a lot of slick shit going on with the government trying to make us forget our culture, where we come from, and it's like a lot of people are naive to fall for it because who they may go to school around, who their influences. So it's cool. Like, and I'm from Africa, like, so I ain't gonna lie. So I always grew up embracing it. So I don't even like the fact that like when it be on some like African versus African Americans, if you want to be, we really all one. We want to kill the buck. I wouldn't want to embrace it, but I like that, like throughout the music, like the Burna Boys and the Davidos and that people are more willing to embrace their cultures. I'm glad people don't know those people that they was put on TV. All they live with lines. That shit's all cap, bro. Africa's really beautiful. People just go take a visit. You feel me? So.
Right, now it's a fact, bro, and it's ill because if you really look at it and think about it, it's like, yo, it's disgusting. Like, because they try to say things like, oh, the people on the continent don't fuck with the people from here. Yeah, if you ask an ignorant nigga from here, he gonna say he don't fuck with the niggas on the continent. If you ask an ignorant nigga on the continent, he gonna say he don't fuck with niggas from here. But when you look at the brothers who's in the political aspect and political thought, they never say that. We've always had allies here. Malcolm X was killed because he was making allies on the continent. They murdered him for it. You know what I'm saying? Kwame Nkrumah learned from Garvey. He came in and learned and went back to Africa and started the movement. You know what I mean? And which Ghana obtained his independence. You know what I'm saying? So Emma Cabral, dudes like that. You know what I mean? Thomas Sankore. You know what I'm saying? And Guinea-Bissau and all of that. Them dudes was coming to America and learning from here. They was coming here and learning. Even if you go to Asia and Ho Chi Minh learned from Garvey. You know what I'm saying? So we always had this connection. When Brothers in the Panthers was trying to flee the countries, they was going to Algeria.
Yeah.
They was going to Cuba.
If you go back to the beginning,
I don't know what this nigga be thinking. Yo, y'all niggas, Mr. Screw got it fucked up. But we always been connected. The dudes who know. The dudes who don't, they don't know. And that's purposely being done.
If you go back to the beginning,
you get one bad apple, you can force a whole bunch of other apples.
It's just misinformation.
A black American ain't nothing but a nigga from West Africa who was kidnapped by other West Africans and sold into European enslavement. That's all it is. Yeah. And now you done been with the European for so long. That's why any of these niggas, they take a DNA test, they go right back to West Africa. That's who we are. Yeah. That's who we are.
It's fun. It's funny to see this, and
But you know, West African nigga who ain't never been to West Africa.
Yeah,
Oh,
like a Puerto Rican that don't speak Spanish. That's all.
yeah. Right, and you got that too.
Yeah,
Nigga in Cuba, he's still a nigga from West Africa. Go to Jamaica, you nigga from West Africa. You go to Haiti, a nigga from West Africa. And they letting you know, they showing you, bro. It's so much there to be like, yo, look, they just took y'all niggas from here. We came here, they brought us here, and now we here, and now I hate you. Like, I don't get along with you. Oh, well, they dropped us off in different spots, so now you speak Spanish. Well, you just was conquered by a nigga from Spain.
Yeah.
You speak English. You nigga conquered by a nigga who spoke English.
That's it. That's
what is the difference?
That's it.
Now we just asking who got the best conqueror.
Yeah. That's what it go. That's what it goes down to.
Yeah, bro. I love that. I love the fact that I'm glad I was able to speak on that on your platform, man. Absolutely. For real, because I don't really get to talk about that much.
One last question. This might be a little bit off topic, right? Because we're an up-and-coming platform. Who should we interview next? Who's somebody you recommend? I've been seeing who's somebody you think we should speak to? Like a lot of dope.
I don't know. I think if y'all really doing the music thing, that's I don't know. I think musically, is a real interesting dude that I don't think people ask him real questions. It's probably NLE Chopper. I think people get caught into all of the other shit. But Son is a real smart dude. You know what I mean? I think dudes should really, if somebody was to really ask that nigga some real questions, it would bring some shit out.
So it's a two-part question because Best, you're supposed to say you plug us in.
Yeah. I'm gonna send them. I'm gonna send them y'all stuff when when we get off this joint. I'm gonna send them stuff to try to get y'all on.
Oh.
I think but definitely I think somebody like him musically. Other than that, I don't know, because you get the typical stuff. I think somebody even like Fabio too. Like to really see what he really thinking, what's really going on with him.
Listen,
outside of just, all right, your record, all right, you woo. How do you feel about Pop Smoke dying? I'm kind of tired of seeing these action that. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Also, and that's the music side. So we also get into other stuff besides music. That's why I got into the political thing, because people that know me know when I didn't need to go to college, but when I went to college, I also studied African American studies, which I got my degree in as well, is a psychology and sociology. So I'm big on definitely bringing people on, political prisoners or people that's for the struggle on. We can have these kind of conversations because we look at ourselves like what the Breakfast Club was, but advancing it, but not necessarily. So we cross discipline when it comes to this media stuff.
That's fine. Yeah, I think if you're looking at it from that, somebody like Bunchy Shakur and somebody like Wally Shakur, somebody like that too. I can plug you in with them
for sure
because they want to get that shit out there too. And you're right. I mean, because that was something the Breakfast Club was doing. You know what I mean? I think niggas should stay away from the Dr. Umars and all them other type of niggas. Niggas is weirdos. You know what I mean? But I think, dudes like that though.
Dr. Umar
made all about learning. That's all it is. Yeah. I'm 23, so I like, you feel me? A lot of stuff I gotta hear stuff to learn it. Like a lot of people you mentioned, I never heard about once in my life ever. Not even.
And that's what's ill, bro. Because if you read those FBI documents, it's purposeful why you didn't hear about them. Purposeful. It's cool. Because these are not brothers that's walking around saying, "Yo, I just want to march." There's no John Lewis in this. There's no, you know what I mean? Yep. When John Lewis died, right? When John Lewis died, and somebody like, you can't be anti-government when you're working for the government. That just don't make sense, right? So when John Lewis had died, and what's his former president, Bill Clinton did his eulogy. He said, "Thank God the movement did not go towards the direction of Stokely Carmichael and went towards the direction of John Lewis." Now, you look in our current conditions, right? And you see we're still stuck in the same place, right? Then you got to know John Lewis wasn't no good.
I'll say this before.
Because the former president is praising him and saying they glad it went in his direction. Yeah. Well, his direction is what we are today. That means it wasn't good.
I'll end this here with this part.
You know what I mean?
And then it's a lot of people they talk about Dr. Martin Luther King, but they never mention the fact that he had the highest disapproval rate in the country, higher than Donald Trump ever from the country. And also, before he died in his last speech, he said, "I fear I led my people into damnation, into a burning building." They never bring up that speech where he said he messed up.
To burn the house.
Mm-hmm. He always bring that up. They don't bring up that part. They just bring up the "We shall overcome." I have a dream speech. But Dr. Martin Luther King and Malcolm X had a meeting before they died, both of them, that people don't even know about, and we never know what happened in that meeting. So
started coming together.
Mm-hmm. But we will leave it there.
Started coming together. They don't bring. Right.
Yep.
They don't bring that up. You know what I mean? They don't bring up the fact that Dr. King said he wasn't a capitalist anymore, that he was a communist.
Mm-hmm.
They don't bring that up.
Absolutely. But,
you know what I mean? They don't bring that up. They don't mention that, you know, with Dr. King and everything that he was doing in his radical sense and his anti-war movement is what led him to say that, and that's why he got killed.
Yep. So we gonna end it there. Manolo Rose, man. That's Manolo Rose, everybody. It's great to see, actually, and we want to have this kind of dialogue with artists where people just see our music and where y'all come from, but don't actually get to pick at y'all brains. But we got to wrap things up. Our producer's telling me it's about time. It's the Controversial Best and Swoop Show. Again, thank you, Manolo, for pulling up, man. Manolo Rose, everybody. Appreciate having him here. We got my boy Best, infamous, slowly maturing, need more hoes, infamous Best. Christine, who couldn't be here with us today. We love you, Christine. Big Leo Energy, Big MILF, Controversial Christine, and yours truly, Vis Swoops, the overweight sensation, smoothest, coolest podcast in the world, and the overweight lover. So we're about to get the fuck up out of here. Manolo, again, appreciate you for being here, brother. And y'all have a great weekend, man. See y'all next week.